Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominator, watching the stars through the massive viewing screen. He had been with the Caltharian Empire for 300 years. In that time, he had conquered 47 worlds and destroyed 12 civilizations that refused to surrender. Today should have been just another routine mission. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Kexiner from the scanning station. "We're approaching the target system now." Vextar nodded. The Empire had sent his fleet to investigate strange energy readings from a small star system in the Outer Rim. According to their deep space sensors, something in this system was producing unusual signals. The Empire wanted to know what it was. "What do we see?" Vextar asked. "One star, yellow type. 9 planets total. The third planet from the star shows signs of life." Vextar smiled. Life meant potential slaves. It also meant potential resources. The Empire was always hungry for both. "Bring us closer." Full scan of the system. The Dominator moved forward, leading a fleet of 50 ships. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a city. Together, they could destroy an entire world if needed. As they got closer, Lieutenant Kexner looked confused. "Sir, these readings are very strange." "Strange how?" "The third planet. It's not normal. Energy readings are off the charts. But they're not coming from the surface." Vextar walked over to the scanning station. He looked at the data himself. What he saw made no sense. "It can't be right," he said. The planet looked normal from far away. Blue oceans, green and brown. Land, white clouds. It looked like any other world with life on it. But the deep scans showed something impossible. The planet's core wasn't made of molten rock like other worlds. Instead, it was a massive fusion reactor. It's the kind of reactor that powered their largest space stations. But this one was 1,000 times bigger. "Sir Kexiner said, his voice shaking. "I'm detecting weapon systems." "Where?" "Everywhere. Into the planet's crust, hidden under the oceans. Even in the atmosphere itself." Vextar stared at the data. The weapons were huge, bigger than anything the Empire had ever built, and they were all pointing outward toward space. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "Sir, there's more. The planet's magnetic field. It's not natural. It's been shaped, controlled, like it's part of some kind of defense system." Vextar felt cold fear creep up his spine. In 300 years of conquest, he had never seen anything like this. Planets didn't have weapon systems. Planets didn't have controlled magnetic fields. Planets were just rocks with life on them. "Send a message to Empire Command," he ordered. "Tell them what we found." The message traveled through hyperspace, reaching the Empire's capital in minutes. Response came back just as fast. "Investigate and neutralize any potential threats. The Empire has faced sleeping giants before." Vextar read the message twice. Sleeping giants. The Empire had indeed faced ancient weapons before. Old civilizations sometimes left behind automated defense systems. But those were usually space stations or asteroid bases. Never an entire planet. "Move the fleet to attack position," he ordered. "But keep our distance. I want to know what we're dealing with before we get too close." The 50 ships spread out in a battle formation. They moved slowly toward the strange planet, weapons ready. As they got closer, something began to happen. Deep beneath the planet's surface, in places that had been dark for millions of years, lights started to flicker on. Ancient computers that had been sleeping since before the Empire existed began to wake up. The planet's magnetic field shifted, just slightly, but enough for the Empire's sensors to detect. "Sir Kexiner said, his voice now full of panic. "The planet, it's responding to us." "What do you mean?" "Energy readings are increasing. The weapon systems are powering up. Knows we're here." Vextar watched his screens in horror. The planet was indeed waking up. Systems that had been dormant for ages were coming online. The fusion reactor in the planet's core was increasing its output. The massive weapons hidden in the planet's crust were preparing to fire. "Get me a full scan of the planet's surface," he ordered. "I want to know what kind of civilization could build something like this." The results came back quickly, and the planet was covered with cities. Billions of life forms lived on its surface, but they seemed primitive. Their technology was basic. They had only just started to explore space. "This makes no sense," Vexstar said. "How can a primitive species live on a planet-sized weapon?" "Maybe they don't know," suggested Kexner. "Maybe the weapon was built by someone else. Maybe these people just live on top of it." Vexstar nodded. That made more sense. Some ancient civilization had built this weapon and then died out. The current inhabitants were just lucky enough to live on a planet that could defend itself. "Send probes," he ordered. "I want to know everything about this world before we make our move." The probes launched from the Dominator and began their approach to the planet. They moved slowly, carefully, trying not to trigger any more defense systems. But as they got closer, something strange happened. The planet's cities began to light up. Not with electric lights, but with something else. Something that looked almost like neural activity, sir, Kexner said. "The life forms on the surface. They're reacting to the planet's awakening." "How?" "Don't know, but they're all looking up at the sky. At us." Vexstar felt a chill. He had conquered many worlds, but he had never seen anything like this. The planet was a weapon. People living on it were somehow connected to it. And now both the planet and its people knew the Empire was here. "Send another message to command," he said. "Tell them we need reinforcements. A lot of reinforcements." As the message was sent, deep in the planet's core, ancient systems continued to wake up. The fusion reactor hummed with increasing power. Weapon systems that had been waiting for millions of years prepared for war, and on the surface, billions of humans felt something stirring in their blood, something that told them their time had come. The Empire had found Earth, and Earth was ready to show them what humans were really capable of. Jinha was 30 meters underground when the first tremor hit. He had been working in the ruins of Old Sol for 3 years, digging through layers of ancient history. As a quantum archaeologist, he studied the past using advanced technology that could see through time itself. But today, something was different. The ground beneath his feet vibrated in a pattern he had never felt before. It wasn't random like an earthquake. It was rhythmic, like a heartbeat. "Harin," he called into his radio, "are you feeling this?" Harin was 2 kilometers away, studying samples in her mobile lab. She was a xenobiologist, someone who studied alien life forms. For the past 5 years, she had been researching how humans had evolved so quickly after first contact with other species. "Yes," she replied. "But Jinha, this isn't geological. These vibrations, ... they're too organized, too purposeful." Jinha looked at his instruments. The readings were impossible. The vibrations were coming from everywhere at once. From deep in the Earth's core, all the way up to the surface. Like the entire planet was waking up. "I'm coming to your location," he said. As Ginha climbed out of the excavation site, he noticed something strange. The ruins around him were glowing, not with fire or electricity, but with a soft blue light that seemed to come from within the stone itself. Ancient Korean symbols carved into the walls were lighting up one by one. He had studied these symbols for years. They were supposed to be decorative, but now they looked like ... instructions. Or maybe a computer code. Across the city, Harin was seeing similar things. The plants in her lab were behaving strangely. They were growing faster than should be possible. Their leaves were changing color and shape, and they were all turning toward the same direction. North. "Ginha," she said into her radio. "Something is calling to the life forms here. All of them. Even the bacteria in my samples are moving in the same direction." Jinha reached Harin's lab just as the second wave of vibrations hit. This time it was stronger. The entire building shook. But again, it wasn't random. It was a pattern, a signal. "Look at this," Harin said, showing him her computer screen. The screen showed a map of the world. Red dots were appearing everywhere. In every major city, every mountain range, every ocean. Thousands of them. "What are they?" Jinha asked. "Energy. Sources. Massive ones. They're all turning on at the same time." Ginha felt his blood run cold. "All over the planet?" "All over the planet." They looked at each other. Both of them were thinking the same thing, but neither wanted to say it out loud. 50 kilometers away, in the city of Busan, Quan was having his own revelation. He was a former military strategist who now worked as a civilian engineer. He had been designing bridges when the vibrations started, but Quan's mind worked differently than most people. He saw patterns where others saw chaos. He understood systems where others saw complexity, and what he was seeing now terrified him. "This is a defense system," he said to his empty office. "The entire planet is a defense system." He pulled up satellite images on his computer. The energy signatures Heron had detected were forming a pattern, a global pattern, like a neural network covering the entire Earth. Quan's hands shook as he typed. He had served in the military for 20 years. He knew weapons systems, understood defense networks, but he had never seen anything like this. The pattern was perfect. Every energy source was positioned to provide maximum coverage. Every signal was timed to create a synchronized response. It was the most advanced military system he had ever seen, and it was built into the planet itself. Meanwhile, in the Sahara Desert, something incredible was happening. The sand was moving, not blown by wind, but moving on its own. It was forming geometric patterns that stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Local researchers rushed to the site. What they found changed everything they thought they knew about Earth. The sand wasn't just moving. It was revealing something underneath. Metal structures. Massive ones. They rose from the desert floor like monuments to some forgotten civilization. But the metal wasn't old. It was new, freshly manufactured. As if it had been waiting underground for the right moment to emerge. In the Pacific Ocean, whales were singing. All of them, at the same time. Their songs were different from anything scientists had ever heard. They were mathematical, precise. Like they were repeating a code. Marine biologists around the world listened in amazement. The whales were singing in perfect harmony, not just with each other, but with something else. Something that was answering from the ocean floor. The aurora borealis appeared over Korea. This should have been impossible. The northern lights only appeared near the poles, yet there they were, dancing across the sky in brilliant green and blue. Jin, Ha, Harin, and Quan met at the Seoul National University. They had been friends since college, and they trusted each other completely. "Tell me I'm not crazy," Jin-ha said. "Tell me you're seeing what I'm seeing." "The planet is waking up," Heron said. Every life form on Earth is responding to something. Something big." Quan nodded. "It's a weapon. The entire planet is a weapon, and we're part of it." "What do you mean?" Jin-ha asked. "Think about it. Humans evolved faster than any other species in history. We went from primitive to spacefaring in just a few thousand years. That's not natural evolution, that's programming." Harin felt a chill. "You think we were designed?" "I think we were designed to be the crew of this weapon." And now, something has triggered the activation sequence. As if responding to his words, all three of them felt it. A presence in their minds. Not invasive, but welcoming. Like coming home after a long journey, images flashed through their thoughts, memories that weren't their own. Ancient battles fought among the stars, civilizations that had risen and fallen. And through it all, a single constant, the need to protect. "We're not just humans," Harin whispered. "We're guardians." Above them, the aurora borealis pulsed brighter. And for the first time in millions of years, Earth was ready to defend itself. In space, Admiral Vextar watched his sensors with growing horror. The planet below was transforming. Energy readings were off the charts. Weapon systems were coming. Online, everywhere. "Sir," Lieutenant Kexener said, "I'm detecting massive movements on the planet's surface. It's like the entire world is repositioning itself." "For what?" "War, sir. Planet is preparing for war." Vexter stared at the impossible. Readings. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he wondered if the Empire had finally found something it couldn't conquer. On Earth. Kinha, Heron, and Quan felt the planet's pulse in their blood. They were no longer just archaeologists, biologists, and engineers. They were Earth's children, and Earth was calling them home. Admiral Vextar made his decision. He had waited long enough. Strange planet below was clearly some kind of weapon, but it was still just one world. The Empire had 10,000 ships in his fleet. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a city. Together, they could crack planets in half. Send the order, he commanded. Full invasion fleet. Deploy all ships for planetary assault. The Empire's fleet moved into attack formation. 10,000 vessels spread across space like a deadly cloud. Each ship was a masterpiece of destruction. It conquered 1,000 worlds with fleets half this size. Target the major population centers, Vextar ordered. Once we eliminate the inhabitants, we can study the planet's weapon systems at our leisure. The first wave of Imperial ships dove toward Earth's atmosphere, their weapons charged, ready to rain death on the world below. But Earth was ready. Jinha stood in the ruins of Old Sol, but he wasn't really there anymore. His consciousness had expanded. He could feel the entire planet like it was his own body. Every mountain, every ocean, every city was part of him now. The ancient symbols on the walls weren't just glowing anymore. They were talking to him, showing him things, teaching him. I can see them, he said to Hurin and Quan, though they were kilometers away. Somehow they could all hear each other now, connected by the planet's own network. The ships, Hurin asked all of them. 10,000 ships. But I can see their weaknesses too. Every design flaw, every vulnerable point. Hurin was in her lab, but her lab had changed. The walls were covered with living circuits now. Plants and machines working together. She could feel microscopic organisms in her bloodstream, but they weren't foreign. They were part of her, part of Earth's immune system. I can control them, she said in wonder. The repair systems, the defense networks. They're alive, and they're listening to me. Quan was at the university, but the building around him had transformed. The floors and walls were covered with screens showing tactical data from around the world. His mind was processing information from 17 different battle zones simultaneously. I can see their attack patterns, he said. Every ship movement, every weapon charge. It's like playing chess, but I can see 50 moves ahead. The first Imperial ship entered Earth's atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean. It was a massive dreadnought. It's designed to level entire continents. It lasted 3 seconds. The ocean itself rose up to meet it. It's not a wave, but a column of water that moved. With purpose. Inside the water were billions of microscopic machines, each one designed to consume metal and energy. The Imperial ship dissolved. Its hull, its weapons, its crew, everything was broken down into component atoms in the span of 3 heartbeats. What just happened? Admiral Vextar demanded. The ship is gone, sir, Lieutenant Kexner replied, his voice shaking. Just gone. The planet consumed it. More ships entered the atmosphere. Over the Sahara Desert, over the Amazon, over the Himalayas. Each one met the same fate, but in different ways. The desert sand rose up like a living thing, forming massive hands that crushed ships like toys. The Amazon's trees launched seed pods that moved like missiles, each one carrying enough explosive power to crack a battleship in half. The mountains themselves opened up, revealing weapon systems that fired beams of pure energy. This is impossible, Vextar said. Planets don't fight back. But Earth was fighting back, and it was winning. Jinha felt the planet's joy as each enemy ship was destroyed. Earth had been waiting for this moment for millions of years. All the preparation, all the sleeping, all the hiding, it was for this. They're trying to target the cities, he reported to the others, but they can't lock on. The planet's magnetic field is scrambling their sensors. Hurin smiled. She could feel the magnetic field like a heartbeat. It was her heartbeat now. She was adjusting it, strengthening it, turning it into a shield that covered the entire world. Their weapons can't penetrate, she said. I'm making the field stronger, denser. They might as well be shooting at a mirror. Quan was coordinating the counterattack. His mind was connected to every defense system on the planet. He could see the battle from 1,000 different angles, process data from 1,000,000 sensors, and make tactical decisions faster than any computer. They're trying to regroup, he said. But they don't understand what they're fighting, I think. Earth is just a big spaceship. They don't realize it's alive. The Empire's fleet tried to adapt. It pulled back from the atmosphere and began bombarding the planet from a distance. Their most powerful weapons lit up the darkness of space. But Earth's defense systems reached much further than they expected. The moon revealed its true nature. What the Empire thought was a natural satellite was actually a massive ammunition depot. It began launching projectiles at the Imperial fleet. But these weren't ordinary missiles. They were made of exotic matter that could phase through normal space. They passed through the Empire's shields like they weren't there, then became solid again inside the enemy ships. The results were devastating. Sir Kexener reported, "We've lost 2,000 ships in the last 5 minutes. The moon is firing some kind of dimensional weapon." Vexstar watched his fleet being decimated. Ships that had conquered civilizations were being destroyed by weapons they couldn't even see coming. "How is this possible?" he whispered. On Earth, Jin, Ha, Haran, and Quan were working together like parts of a single mind. Jin Ha controlled the planet's geological systems, turning mountains into weapons and oceans into shields. Haran commanded the biological networks, using every living thing on Earth as part of the defense system. Quan directed the tactical systems, coordinating attacks across multiple star systems, because Earth's influence wasn't limited to just the planet anymore. The defense network extended throughout the solar system. Every asteroid, every comet, every piece of space debris was part of the weapon system. "They're trying to call for reinforcements," Quan reported. "But I'm jamming their communications. They can't even tell their empire what's happening here." The battle raged for 17 minutes. When it was over, the Empire's entire invasion fleet had been destroyed. 10,000 ships. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers. All of them reduced to their component atoms. Admiral Vexstar found himself alone in space, his flagship the only surviving vessel. The Dominator was badly damaged, its weapons offline, its crew dead or unconscious. "This is Admiral Vexstar," he broadcast on all frequencies. "I am the sole survivor of the Imperial invasion fleet. The planet Earth is not what we thought. Is a weapon beyond our understanding. A weapon that can think, a weapon that can feel, a weapon that fights back." He paused, looking at the blue-green world that had destroyed his entire fleet. "The Empire has awakened something that should have stayed sleeping. Something that has been waiting for us. Something that was built to fight." On Earth, Jinha Haran and Quan felt the planet's satisfaction. The first test was complete. Earth had defended itself successfully, but they all knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would return, and when they did, they would bring everything they had. Earth would be ready. Admiral Vexstar's damaged ship limped back to the Empire's capital world. The journey took 3 weeks. When he arrived, the High Council was waiting for him. "You lost an entire fleet to one primitive world," Supreme Commander Thaxener demanded. "It's not primitive," Vexstar replied. "The planet is a weapon. The entire world is a weapon, and the humans living on it. They're part of the weapon system." The High Council didn't believe him. They thought he was making excuses for his failure. "We will send a real fleet," Thaxener declared. 1 million ships. Every weapon we have. Every soldier in our army. We will turn that world into dust. But Vexstar shook his head. "You don't understand. The planet won't wait for us to attack again. It's coming for us." The Council laughed. Planets didn't move. Planets didn't attack. Planets were just rocks floating in space. They were wrong. Back on Earth, Ginha stood in the control center that had once been the ruins of Old Sol. The ancient chamber was now fully active. It's filled with holographic displays showing the entire galaxy. "The Empire's capital is here," he said, pointing to a red dot on the star map, 47 light-years away. "They have military bases on 300 worlds." Aaron nodded. She was connected to Earth's biological systems now, and she could feel the planet's anger. The Empire had tried to destroy their home. Earth would not forgive that. "How long until we can move?" she asked. "The propulsion systems are almost ready," Quan replied. He was monitoring the massive engines hidden deep in Earth's core. "We can leave orbit in 6 hours," Jinha smiled. The Empire thought they were safe because they were far away. They didn't understand that Earth was more than just a planet. It was a mobile fortress, a battleship the size of a world. "Begin the departure sequence," he ordered. Deep in the Earth's core, fusion reactors that had been dormant for millions of years roared to life. The planet's rotation began to slow. Its magnetic field started to reshape itself. On the surface, people around the world felt the change. The ground beneath their feet vibrated with new purpose. The sky above them shimmered with energy, but they weren't afraid. They were excited. Earth was taking them to war, and they were ready. The planet broke free from its orbit around the sun. Using propulsion systems built into its core, Earth began to move through space. Not fast like a normal spaceship, but steady and unstoppable. As it traveled, Earth didn't just move, it recruited. The first world they reached was a mining colony called Nexus 7. The Empire had enslaved the native population there, forcing them to dig for rare metals. Jinha appeared to them as a hologram, his image broadcast across their world. "We are Earth," he said. "We are here to set you free. Will you fight with us?" The slaves looked up at the massive planet hanging in their sky they had never seen. Anything so beautiful or so terrible? Here was a world that could fight back against the Empire. "Yes," they said. "We will fight." Harin's biological systems spread to their world. The Empire's control devices, implanted in the slaves' brains, were dissolved by microscopic organisms. The slaves were free for the first time in generations. The freed world joined Earth's growing fleet. Their mining ships became weapons. Their industrial centers became weapon factories. Their people became soldiers in Earth's army. It's the same thing happened at the next world and the next. Each planet that Earth visited chose to join the rebellion. They had been waiting for someone strong enough to challenge the Empire. Earth gave them that strength. Quan coordinated the military operations. His mind was connected to every ship in the growing fleet, every weapon system, every tactical network. He could plan battles across dozens of star systems at the same time. "The Empire is trying to mobilize their forces," he reported, "but they're scattered across the galaxy. We can hit them before they can organize." Jinha nodded. "Target their supply lines first. Cut off their ability to resupply their fleets." The war began in earnest. Earth's fleets struck at Empire bases across the galaxy. But these weren't ordinary attacks. Earth had weapons the Empire couldn't understand. Some of their ships could phase through solid matter. Others could manipulate gravity itself. Still others could turn the Empire's own weapons against them. And everywhere Earth went, more worlds joined the rebellion. Harin discovered something amazing. Every species they freed had unique abilities. The lizard people of Rattan could see through the Empire's cloaking devices. The gas beings of Nefter could disable electronic systems just by thinking about them. The rock creatures of Tyrannos could survive in space without protection. She integrated all these abilities into Earth's biological network. The planet wasn't just collecting allies, it was becoming stronger with each new species that joined. The Empire tried to fight back. They sent their most powerful fleets to stop Earth's advance, but it was too late. The rebellion had grown too large, too diverse, too strong. Sir Lieutenant Kexener reported to Supreme Commander Thaxener. "We've lost control of 17 sectors. Rebels are using weapons we've never seen before." Thaxener stared at the tactical display. Red dots marked rebel victories across the galaxy. His vast empire was crumbling. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They're just primitives with one planet." "It's not just one planet anymore, sir. Intelligence reports suggest they have over 200 worlds in their fleet now. And they're all working together like parts of a single organism." Thaxener felt fear creep into his heart. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had crushed every rebellion, defeated every enemy. But this was different. This wasn't just a rebellion. This was evolution. On Earth, Jinha, Harin, and Quan stood together in the command center. Around them, holographic displays showed the war's progress. The Empire's territory was shrinking by the day. They're gathering their remaining forces at the capital, Quan reported. Everything they have left. 1 million ships, just like they promised. Jinha smiled. Then that's where we'll end this. Earth changed course, heading directly for the Empire's capital world. Behind it came the largest fleet in galactic history. Hundreds of worlds, thousands of different species, all united in a single purpose. The Empire had ruled through fear and oppression for millennia. But now, they faced something they had never encountered before. Hope. And hope, Earth had learned, was the most dangerous weapon of all. The final battle was coming. The Empire's capital world grew larger in their viewports. Soon, the war would be over. Jinha, Harin, and Quan already knew who would win. They could feel it in Earth's heartbeat, in the songs of the freed worlds, in the unity of species that had never worked together before. The Empire had awakened Earth. Now, Earth would show them what freedom really meant. The Empire's capital world, Kelthtar, had never been threatened before. For 3,000 years, it had been the center of galactic power. Its cities covered entire continents. Its orbital stations could house 1 billion people each. Its defenses were legendary. But now, hanging in the sky like a vengeful god, was Earth. Supreme Commander Thaxner stood on the highest tower of the Imperial Palace, looking up at the blue-green world that had destroyed his empire. Around Earth, 1,000 other worlds waited. The largest fleet in galactic history. All remaining forces, prepare for final battle, he ordered. We will not surrender. We will not retreat. We'll show these rebels what the Empire is truly capable of. 1 million Imperial ships rose from Kalthtar's surface. Every weapon the Empire had ever built. Every soldier they had ever trained. Their most powerful devices, machines that could unmake matter at the quantum level. It was the greatest display of military might in galactic history. It lasted 47 seconds. Jinha didn't even need to give orders. Earth's systems responded automatically. The planet's surface opened like a flower, revealing weapons that had been sleeping since the universe was young. Beams of pure energy lanced out from Earth's crust. Each beam was precise, surgical. They didn't destroy the Imperial ships, they converted them. Matter became energy. Energy became information. Information became part of Earth's growing network. Impossible, Thaxner whispered. Our quantum disruptors should work on anything. But Earth existed partially outside normal space-time. The Empire's ultimate weapons passed through it like shadows through light, had no effect at all. Harin felt the Empire's confusion through Earth's biological network. She almost felt sorry for them. They had built their entire civilization on the idea that bigger weapons meant more power. They didn't understand that true power came from unity, not destruction. It's over, she said to Jinha and Quan. They have nothing left. The battle ended as quickly as it began. The Empire's final fleet was gone. Their orbital stations were neutralized. Planetary defenses were disabled. But Earth didn't destroy Kelthtar. Instead, something amazing happened. The planet began to descend toward the Empire's capital world, not crashing, but landing. Gently, like a moon finding its proper orbit. On the surface of Kelthtar, millions of Imperial citizens watched in. Terror and wonder. The world that had defeated their empire was right above them. They could see its continents, its oceans, its clouds. They could see that it was beautiful. Jinha appeared as a hologram above every city on Kelthtar. His image was broadcast across the entire planet. We are Earth, he said. We're here. Not to conquer you, but to free you. The Imperial citizens didn't understand. They had never known freedom. They had lived their entire lives under the Empire's rule. Your leaders told you that strength comes from dominating others, Jinha continued. But we will show you a different way. Strength comes from working together. Power comes from helping each other. Quan was already working on the transition. His mind was connected to every computer system on Kelthtar, the Empire's control. Networks were being replaced with something new. Something that gave choice instead of demanding obedience. The Empire is dissolved, he announced. From this day forward, every world is free to choose its own path. Some worlds chose to remain independent. Others formed new alliances. Many asked to join the growing confederation that Earth was building. But the most surprising thing happened on Kalthtar itself. The former capital of the Empire voted to become Earth's first partner world. The people who had once ruled the galaxy through fear now wanted to learn how to rule through cooperation. Supreme Commander Thaxoner found himself standing in the same throne room where he had once commanded millions of soldiers, but now he was facing 3 humans who had changed everything. "What will you do with me?" he asked Jinha, Horin, and Quan. "That depends," Jinha replied. "What do you want to do?" Thaxoner was confused. "I don't understand. The Empire is gone," Horin explained. "But you're still here. You have knowledge, experience, skills. You could help us build something better. You're offering me a choice?" "Everyone gets a choice," Quan said. "That's the whole point." Thaxoner thought about this for a long time. He had spent his entire life following orders, giving orders, believing that someone always had to be in control. But these humans were showing him something different. "I want to help," he said finally. "I want to learn how to do things your way." Months passed. Earth returned to its original orbit around the sun, but the galaxy had changed forever. The Galactic Republic was born, a confederation of free worlds where no single species dominated. Ginha became the Republic's first chancellor, but he shared power with representatives from every member world. His job wasn't to rule, but to help everyone work together. Horin led the restoration efforts. Using Earth's biological systems, she helped heal worlds that had been damaged by centuries of imperial strip mining. Dead planets came back to life. Poisoned oceans became clean again. Extinct species were restored. Quan transformed the Empire's war machines into tools of exploration and creation. The fleets that had once conquered worlds now explored new galaxies. The weapons that had destroyed civilizations now built cities among the stars. 1 year after the Empire's fall, Ginha stood in the same ruins where his journey had begun. Old Seoul was being rebuilt, but it was different now. Human architecture mixed with alien designs. Korean symbols shared space with writing from a dozen different worlds. Horin joined him, her lab now a center for interspecies biological research. Scientists from across the galaxy came to study how different life forms could work together. "Do you think we did the right thing?" she asked. Ginha smiled. "Look around. People are free. Worlds are healing. Species that were enemies are now friends. I think we did exactly what we were meant to do." Quan approached them, carrying reports from the Outer Rim. New worlds were being discovered every day. Some had life, some didn't. All of them were welcome in the Republic. "The exploration fleets have found something interesting," he said. "Signals from another galaxy. There might be other civilizations out there. Are they friendly?" Heron asked. "We'll find out, but if they're not..." Quan gestured toward the sky where Earth hung like a blue jewel. "We'll be ready." Deep beneath their feet in the planet's core, ancient systems hummed with patient power. Earth had fulfilled its purpose, protecting its children and freeing the galaxy from tyranny. But the universe was vast, and there were other threats out there. Other empires that might need to be shown the meaning of freedom. Earth would be waiting. The 3 friends looked up at the stars, no longer seeing distant lights, but neighbors. The galaxy was free, and humanity had learned the most important lesson of all. True strength didn't come from being the strongest. It came from helping others become strong too. In the distance, ships from 100 different worlds traveled between the stars, not as conquerors, but as explorers, teachers, and friends. The Empire was dead, the Republic was alive, and Earth, the planet-sized warship that had awakened to defend its children, slept peacefully once more, ready to wake up again if it was ever needed. Because that's what it meant to be human, not just to survive, but to protect. Not just to conquer, but to liberate. Not just to be strong, but to make others strong too. The galaxy had learned humanity's name, and it would never forget it again.